Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, hope you're doing well. So earlier on today we had another discussion live stream over on TwoSixNine's Twitch channel. Done a couple of those up until now where we kind of discussed games we were playing at the time. We thought we would kick off 2018 with a discussion video about our most anticipated, or some of our most anticipated games. Of course there are lots of games coming out this year. You can never encapsulate all of them in these kind of discussions, but either way, this is a discussion between myself, TwoSixNine, and Welcome to Paradise. We basically all kind of like share our top 3 games, and there's a few honorable mentions in there as well. So it's quite a long video, but it's a discussion one. So for those of you guys that dropped by, thank you very much. If you guys missed it, then you can find links to 269's Twitch channel and Paradise's Twitch channel down below. Of course, they both stream pretty much most days, so definitely worth hitting up and following. We'll be doing a lot more kind of Monster Hunter content and other content over there over the coming weeks and whatnot. But for the time being, if you guys missed it, this is the complete discussion. So sit back, relax, enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys soon.
Alright guys, now that we're into it, let's get in to the games of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me kick it off with the obvious one. Since it's going to go on the channel as well anyway, I might as well kick it off with, it's like everyone can guess it before I've even said it. Monster Hunter World is, without a doubt, my most anticipated game of 2018. Like, unless they release something insane throughout the rest of the year, it's probably also going to be my game of the year at the end of the year. Like, I am, you know, I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. I've been playing since Freedom Unite, or Freedom Second actually. And you know, we've all been playing well. We've had 2 of these discussion streams where we've spoken about Monster Hunter in different ways. So it's like, it goes without saying that we're excited for it. But yeah, I mean, that I just like, we're so close to it now. We've got a massive stream tomorrow with like some news and stuff. So that's gonna be exciting. And then, you know, we're like just over 2 weeks from release. So
have they hinted at what's going to be in the stream or anything?
No, there's no details or anything like that. But like, you know, I'd imagine given the proximity to launch, we still haven't got a launch trailer yet. So I feel like we might get that. At the end of they typically follow up these news ones with like what we saw as the teaser at the end. So like the end of the last trailer as a tease, we saw a snippet of the volcano map with like Levasioth and Arekkz as well. So I feel like we probably, if we get like a launch trailer, maybe it'll be a look at the volcano map. Hopefully some more monster reveals. Like anytime a new trailer comes out, we typically get a couple more like reveals, so maybe we'll see a few more of them. And then yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't expect it to be like, you know, I don't expect it to be like an insane amount, because you know we are close to launch, and they even said before they want us to keep some stuff surprises. Like when in the interviews and stuff, they were like, we don't want to reveal too much. We still want to leave stuff for people to discover. But yeah, I'm hoping for like a new trailer, some more monsters, stuff like that. So should be exciting.
If you're in the UK and you want your games early, hopefully there's no Capcom spies in the chat. Order from Shop 2. No, not from Shop 2. Simply Games, not Shop 2. Simply Games. Order from Simply Games. They'll get it to you a couple of days early. That's what Simply I do Games. If I wasn't sent a copy from the publisher. Yeah. And by a couple of days, like they usually send it out as they're in stock.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it goes. I think also, like to a certain extent, like Monster Hunter's one for a lot of us. I mean, I know you've obviously got your own personal games, but I mean, we've been playing like a lot of it. I'm excited for Monster Hunter as well for like a number of different reasons. Like, firstly, because I'm just a huge Monster Hunter fan. Like, it's just like one of my game series. Like, Monster Hunter for me is second to Zelda. So like, it's one of my biggest series. But I'm also just more excited as well because like you guys are more excited about it. Like you know, I mean, me and 26 obviously played Monster Hunter together for years, but like, the fact that you're almost as excited for this like as I am as well. So and like that, mate,
I'm more excited for the game than
maybe it is, but like and for that reason, like I was like super excited because it means that, you know, like everyone like around me wants to play the game as well. So it's like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know. Doing those speed runs is what sold me on the game, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then you're gonna
weapon variety and stuff. So I was just like,
well, in that case, you're gonna love. I mean, because one thing that none of us like, we've never really been like huge on them in the past. Even when we used to play, like we did like arena quests if you needed to do them, but like we never spent like too long in there. But the fact that you've got the enjoyment out of the speed running, and we know that the arena quest will actually have global leaderboards, that in itself is going to be a place for you to like direct your attention. Yeah, although I think if like arenas or anything like before, I think arenas are only 2 players, but still, regardless, it's going to be that's going to be cool. So
mad. Oh,
I think we should say that Monster Hunter World is obviously a highly anticipated game for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
So it is Alex's
that's why
top
I wasn't
pick.
going to include it on the list, and I don't know why Alex included it on his list.
You know what?
It's the obvious.
I mean, it states the obvious, but you know why I include it? Because if I didn't include it, and then this video went up on the channel, people would be like, what about Monster Hunter? You're not excited about it? I'm like, of course. So yeah, so sometimes
sell out, shill,
Sell out.
shill.
No, but like I've got to mention it because it's just a huge one for me. Because honestly, like when it comes to like when we're in like November, December next year, and like or this year, and then Game Awards coming out, like putting nominations in, like my Game of the Year nomination will probably end up going to Monster Hunter World. So yeah.
And we got that cheeky PC release hint.
Yes, yeah. All they're saying autumn, so that's likely somewhere between August and November. So hopefully earlier. Yeah, but we shall see.
So yeah, that's good. So can we actually move on to your first non-Monster Hunter game? That's your most anticipated game for the year. So, most anticipated game, this one's an interesting one as well, is a game called Lost Ark. Some of you guys might not have heard it. In fact, I'll be surprised if a lot of people have heard of it because it's not like this one might not even be out this year. So currently, right, Lost Ark. Let me set the scene first. Lost Ark is right. It's like a 3D fantasy MMORPG with action RPG gameplay. So perspective-wise, it looks like Diablo, plays kind of like Diablo, but you've got the kind of discovery and the progression aspects of MMOs. The game features both like open world environments and also instance like raid things. So kind of a comparison to that, one of the easiest like comparisons is actually a game called Vindictus because they had the sort of open world areas and then you go into these like segmented instance kind of quests. Players can actually like discover unique islands because you've got your own ships. You can discover these islands as you explore the map. There are different classes. In fact, there are 6 base classes. You've got warrior, mage, fighter, gunner, assassin, and specialist. But then each of those has 3 advanced classes. So technically speaking, there are 18 classes. We've seen 7 so far. And you like the gameplay itself. You probably see something in the background anyway. Like it plays a little bit like it's an actual
Diablo,
MMO as well, right? It's a
MMO. No, it's full on MMO. Like when you're in like the dungeon parts, it's more instance, but the actual there's open exploration parts of it as well. And the thing like the combat as well. Like even though you've got that similar kind of camera aspect to Diablo, the actual combos and stuff you pull off just seems so much more in depth. Like the way that you link all these moves together, the way you kind of like sync them together. There's obviously PvE raids, but there are also like with like proper like big bosses and mechanics and stuff. There's also PvP. There's 1v1 and 3v3. You've got an in-depth skill system. You've got like mini games. You've also got the kind of stuff you can do in MMOs when you're not playing properly. You can go around fishing. You can go around mining, looking for artifacts, all those kind of things. I don't know whether those are actually classed like skills or like whether you could just do them passively. And also something that I know that 2.6 will love as well. You can actually own your own island. You can conquer an island. You can manage it, and you can own an island as well. So there's like loads of cool stuff. But the thing about this game is it's currently only in Korea in closed beta. It's not even playable right now because the closed beta is finished. So right now nobody's playing this game, but it's in Korea first.
I just have to stop you here, but this class looks so sick. Like I love the gunner. If I'm playing that as it, gunner looks so sick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks insane. I mean, and also, like, if you guys want to know more about this game, I'm actually planning a video very soon talking slightly more about this, so I'll kind of go over that with you guys anyway. But yeah, I mean, I like there's a class that I don't know if it's been seen in the background because I haven't been watching the gameplay too much, but there's one class that's got like a big hammer, and for me, like that, it just looks so cool because it's just like he has this move where like he brings people close together, like stuns them, and just basically just like slams down like Thor. It's just it's insane.
Is this also the game that has the class with the lady that does like magic with cards?
Yeah, with the cards.
Yes. This is a good one.
Yeah, so there are tons of them. But yeah, so the problem we have with this game is obviously that like it's supposed to release in Korea this year. And then following like other games, it will then probably go to like China first, and then maybe we'll get it in the West. There is no confirmation at all as to whether we will get this in the West, so it's a bit of an odd one to include in this list. But I just like, it's absolutely insane. And also when you kind of look back to something like Blade and Soul, I mean that came out in Korea in 2012, and we got it in the West in 2016. So it's entirely possible that we could be talking about this in a few years' time. But hey, point is, this is Lost Ark. If you want to know more, stay tuned. I'll probably have a video for you guys the next week or so. But incredibly exciting. In fact, part of why I was like to sort of try and fill the void. Me and Debbie went back and played through Diablo 3. It didn't quite fill the void. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Diablo anyway. But yeah, I was just trying to sort of like fill the Lost Ark void.
I don't know. You need it to be like super like flashy in the same way that Lost Ark is, right? I want to see if they do localize it. I don't know why companies take so long to like localize their game if they know that there's Western interest there per se. Because by the time it comes out, or maybe they kind of want a second win, but surely there must be a publisher out there that looks at those games in Korea and be like, okay, this game's got traction already. Rather than me risking half of my money on like some rando game, let me just give these guys the money and publish their game in the West. I don't understand like why it happens, where no one's like taking it up and being like, because I know if I had a couple 100 million lying around, I'll be like, yo, let me localize this game, make some quick bucks. This is exactly what people are looking for in terms of depth and like depth of gameplay.
Not just that as well, but MMOs right now are limited with what you have, and there's not any new. There, in fact, I dare say there's not any new options in the last several months for MMOs, and there's definitely the demand. I know loads of people that are looking for a good new MMO, and they don't want to play the ones that are out now because they've either played them already and didn't enjoy them, or they've just moved on from that type of MMO, because this one's quite different from what we are used to.
Yeah. Well, it's fusing of like two really interesting genres, right? Because there's like that whole sort of like action RPG perspective style, like Diablo-esque. You know, we've also seen it from Path of Exile, things like that. They're quite popular, and they're actually quite, they're really fun to play. But then you work that, but those are slightly more limited often. But then you work in like MMO aspects to it, and suddenly you've got like an insane potential. So yeah, fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Now we can all, if you guys didn't know about this game, and now you do, now you can share in the suffering that we all have to sit through and be like, I hope we get this game. I really do.
So what is the title of the game? Because a couple of people have been asking about it.
It's called Lost Ark, A-R-K. So partly, I think it's titled that because you have a ship which is like an ark, and then you have your own ship and you fly around and you discover islands and stuff. So Lost Ark.
Look at this.
Yeah. You have like raid bosses. You have actual raid bosses. Like it's like what I was.
And it's got like cinematic dungeons as well, right? It's got full-on cinematic dungeons with like cutscenes and it's a co-op campaign. So.
And if anyone missed it earlier, he was riding a dragon, and then he was doing moves with that dragon, and then the same again with a mech in the clips a bit earlier. So there's some kind of mounted combat thing going on there.
Yeah. The only one problem they have, and I mean, there was another person that was speaking about this before, is that they like the thing that's probably slowing them down. They keep adding features to the game.
Yeah.
Like they keep they're just piling more and more stuff in, which sounds like a great. Like, if you're looking forward to the game, you're like, this sounds awesome. Give me more stuff. But like, the problem is that if every time they're adding stuff, they're just delaying their release. It's like they need to just like put a lock on it and be like, this is the content we'll have in the game, and they just because they can release it as DLC later. But like, if they just keep piling stuff in and then just release in betas, it might even be like a couple years before it's out in Korea. But who knows? Who knows?
Right, it's just insane. I watched like a full playthrough of one of the dungeons, and it was basically like a cyberpunk dungeon. So everything was it's different. So every dungeon's quite thematic in terms of what you go into, and it's like steampunk, and it had like full on like mechs in there. And you could like, it was mad. And it was just like you're fighting robots. It was super cool.
Yeah. Damn.
So what's your next game, Alex?
So finally, my number 3 for the most anticipated game this year, and one that's actually definitely coming out this year, is Mega Man 11. No.
Wackest man of them all.
No. Right, so Mega Man. It's been a while since we've seen Mega Man, right? Like I love platformers.
You know why it's a while since we've seen Mega Man? Because he's dead.
Hey, no. You even like at university. You even made a Mega Man. You even made a Mega Man game.
I made a Zero game. because Zero is like one that I feel is a bit cooler than Mega Man.
All right. Well, whatever. Right. The point is, I love my platformers. I used to play them a lot more. Like I played like a lot of the like Mega Man games, like 3DS and stuff, and like platformers in general. But it's awesome to see it come back with like a new visual style. There's not a great deal done at the moment, but we do still have some things. So the traditional kind of Mega Man format is still back, so you can kind of pick your 8. There'll be like the robot masters you go against. You can pick who you want to fight against to begin with. They're offering multiple difficulty levels this time around as well. So kind of normal will provide your normal Mega Man experience. But for people that really want to challenge, there's like a superhero mode, and there's also like a slightly more casual mode. They've changed the camera view ever so slightly, so instead of it being a lot higher than normal, it's more kind of centered and zoomed out to give you a slightly like wider field of view. There's a new gameplay element that they're not allowed to speak about recently. There's been like a Game Informer month of coverage. They haven't been able to reveal what that is, but we see it at like the end of the trailer when like he goes into this sort of power up mode. So I imagine that's going to be like integral. They also like in the kind of previous games, whenever there would be like changes and whatnot to like robot master abilities, it would typically come in like your colors and whatnot. But they're actually changing like the way you look in this one with different sort of helmets and stuff. And also, obviously, they're going to there's like quality of life things, like switching between your robot master abilities is now going to be done on like the right wheel and stuff. But it just looks really cool. Like it's obviously it's coming to Switch, so I'm also super excited for that.
Yeah, that's the only reason that you're excited for it.
No. I'm excited for it.
Dead in the wind.
No.
I really enjoy Mega Man, and I have to say I've heard about this game, and I have also heard some negative things about this game. So this is one to keep your eye on, because there's a lot. The negative things I heard were from like Mega Man fan, maybe not fanboys, because it's been a while now, Mega Man fans that are saying they've changed too much with certain things.
I mean,
so I think it's an interesting one to keep an eye on.
That's always an interesting conversation. Like, it kind of happens with like any game. I mean, the same sort of discussion came up with like Zelda and stuff. It's like if you're like a diehard fan with all of them, I will admit like I haven't played as many Mega Man games. I have to say like Zelda games when I was talking about Zelda before. But like if you've been waiting years and years and years for your sequel, and then the sequel you get is drastically different, I can understand sort of like sometimes that kind of reaction. But at the same time, people just seem to forget that like games can evolve. Games need to evolve, right? So like if they just release the same thing over and over again, then we're never going to kind of get anywhere anyway. So I'm personally super excited for this. It's also on PS4 as well, but I will definitely be picking it up on Switch. But this is this is a game I'm super looking forward to. And of course, in the meantime, before that, they're also re-releasing a load of the Mega Man games in the kind of collection earlier in the year. So to buy at the time, we have that. But yeah, definitely.
All the games coming out.
Switch game.
Hey man, no. I mean, there are loads. I mean, there are loads of other games. Like people are calling out the games.
I don't know. Like, I never played Mega Man, and I don't have this nostalgia for it, and probably that's what it is.
Yeah.
I have more of a nostalgia for like Mario and Sonic games and stuff like that. So it's just like, okay, cool. I get what those are about, but looking from kind of like a game, I just don't understand like why people like it compared to any other platformer. But there is probably it must be doing something like super unique compared to all these other games that people enjoy and stuff like that. So.
I gotta say, I like the old Mega Man games, and I don't like the change in art style that they have, where they've gone for this more 3D vibe compared to the traditional Mega Man.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
I'm not digging the art style, and that would probably be enough to make me just not want to play it if I'm not going to enjoy the visual style of the game. And that's coming from someone that liked the old Mega Man games. So
yeah, no, I mean it's fair. I mean each their own. I mean I actually quite like the new visuals, but I mean that's fair enough. That's fair enough. There's gonna be like a divide there, but I mean also it's obviously worth calling that as well. I mean because there will be people in chat were like, what about this game? What about this game? Bear in mind, I'm looking forward to so many games this year, and like Dragon Ball FighterZ is another one, but like. We're just talking like these are just three that are super high up on the list. So.
Supposedly your number 4 is Echo the Dolphin.
No, number 4 is not Echo the Dolphin. No. But that so they're my top 3 right now. Obviously there'll be like that might even change because E3 there'll be different announcements and stuff, and like there's other like obvious games to talk about and things like Anthem and stuff we don't even know if it's coming out this year. So either way, that's me. Let me throw it to one of you guys.
Hold on, I thought Anthem was estimated for fourth quarter.
Estimated, yes.
For this year.
Okay. Estimated, yes. Yeah.
So, do you have any honourable mentions? I didn't get trailers for these, by the way, so there won't be any trailers up on screen. But like,
well, I'll tell you what. Let's throw to you in Paradise first. We'll do those ones, then we can just do a quick honourable mentions at the end.
Yo, Paradise.
I'm happy to go next. All right, so first up for me is Days Gone. I am a fan of zombie survival games, as you will also learn from my second pick. But this year's 2017, the last year now, has been dry on those zombie survival games. And
he loves a zombie game.
if you've got a survival game and you've got good content and you've got that zombie mix in, and even better if you've got co-op in there, which I don't think Days Gone has co-op, but you don't need that. But we'll come back to that later. Then I'm happy. And Days Gone, PS4 exclusive. So let me first say, as someone that is advocating PC as the better platform, I am not saying that consoles are bad, and I also think that the game should be the focus, right? So PS4 exclusive, kind of a letdown for every other platform, but still, if you're looking at look at the crisp graphics on screen, look at that setting, look at the lighting, and when it gets to it, look at the zombies, look at the hordes. If you're a zombie survival fan, this game has what you want. It has what you need. It's got tons of zombies. It's got different types of zombies. It's got that survival aspect. I'm pretty sure it's got crafting elements as well, which of course you want in your zombie survival game. And we don't even know that much about it. I think there's like 2, footage videos from like E3s. Other than that, we've got like a few trailers, I think. I'm pretty sure that's all there is. So there isn't vast amount of information, and even if you look around, you're just getting like people like guessing what there is based on the trailers. But this sort of looks like a Last of Us, but made into a more like a RPG, if that makes sense. Because Last of Us isn't really an RPG; it's more like a progressive story. whereas this is more of a survival RPG, but obviously with a story, to my understanding from what we've seen. And so if you have a PlayStation 4, you like zombie survival, this game should, I think, get you excited. And I don't want to compare it too much to another game because my second pick, we're going to come back to that later. But
I like how when you were describing it to begin with, it sounded like a Marks and Spencer's advert. I don't know if it's Marks and Spencer's in the States. Either way, it sounded like one of those ones where it's like, this isn't just a zombie game. This is a crisp, well lit, very, very, I don't know, PS4 exclusive zombie game.
This is the definitive zombie game.
Exactly, yeah.
If you want, this is what Days Gone says to me.
This is all it is. In London, we've got like a phrase called reball, which basically just means fake and like really like a discount version of the real thing. This is a reball version of Last of Us.
No.
Why Sony was like,
it's not.
Let's have two of the same game.
It's not trying to be Last of Us. It's trying to be a mixture of Last of Us. It's trying to be a mixture of Walking Dead. It's trying to be a mixture of State of Decay.
Let me just scroll back here. I swear that like if someone told me that you trying to say this is not Last of Us right here. Literally
no, I'm saying no, but you could say that about any zombie game because if they're
not with that system there where it's got like the dynamic like combat where you tap the buttons and everything.
Well, look, they're taking the best bits.
Literally lifted from Uncharted.
They're taking some of
the
good aspects, the good parts of popular zombie games, and they're merging them together. And from what we're seeing, and now the game could be terrible. None of us have played it, but it's meant to come out this year. Hopefully they don't delay it. We haven't seen as much footage as we would perhaps like, but from what we have seen, it looks very good and fun, and it does look quite unique. Like you say, it looks a lot like there are aspects that look a lot like Last of Us.
It looks unique.
No. There are aspects that look like Last of Us, but there are also the gameplay of this looks quite unique in the terms of the sheer number of zombies that you have on screen.
Okay, the number of zombies is the unique thing about it. I'll give you that. It's got more zombies than Last of Us.
The different thing about this than Last of Us, The Last of Us is more about each zombie's a threat, right?
Just like The Last of Us.
Wait, is this the one where? Because I think in the original, like they blew open the wall, right? And there's like the zombies just like blooded through. That's this game.
That doesn't mean I'm not excited for this game. Like I am excited for this game because like more Last of Us, even if it's like a different studio doing it, is still like a good thing. It's just like if another studio was made. It's like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, right? Tomb Raider, Uncharted. While they're similar games and they do similar things, it's like more of that is definitely something that I'm prepared to play.
I do think that because the thing was with Last of Us, it's very story driven about the two main characters, whereas I think in this it's not so much story driven with the character. Obviously it will have the story, but I think this is more about the zombie survival aspect of it, which I believe is the appeal to this from the trailers and the stuff that's been said that I've seen. But again, we haven't seen that much stuff. But if you haven't heard of this game and you haven't seen the trailers, watch the trailers and you'll see what I mean. Because there are things that look like Last of Us, but there are also things in this that look totally not like Last of Us. Like what you're basically seeing on stream now with these massive hordes of zombies and these encampments and stuff, and the way that you can like ambush the encampments by using the zombies with the mechanics that you have in play. So I'm excited for this. It is a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
No, I'm definitely excited for it, but I don't know how much I'm excited for it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's on my radar, but it's not something that I'm like, yeah, I must have when I know that something else is coming out.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be like one of the sickest games of this generation.
I think to really appreciate a good zombie survival game, you have to be a big, like, Walking Dead or, zombie survival fan. And I enjoy those things. I enjoy that zombie survival aspect. Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
I know what you mean. If you particularly like a type of theme, then you're going to be more excited for that particular thing. It's just like if a game with mechs came out, then I'm like, oh, mechs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So what's your next game?
Swiftly takes us on to my next most excited game, which is State of Decay 2.
Okay.
Now, this is another zombie survival game, which I was talking about earlier about. State of Decay 1, if you have played it, it has come out on PC since its original release on console. I think it was just Xbox. I don't believe it was out on PlayStation. It may have been, I'm not sure. State of Decay 1 was super fun, super enjoyable, lacking in certain areas. It's now out on PC with a remastered version. Still super fun, still super enjoyable, still lacking in certain areas, but supports mods, which is very fun. But State of Decay 2, and once again, they are lacking with the information with the videos because there isn't that much out there for State of Decay 2 either. So they know that we want more, and they're not giving us it. So they're keeping that that mystery about these zombie survival games, that suspense. So State of Decay 2, I don't believe it's been officially announced, but I'm very positive that they will have co-op in State of Decay 2, which is, if you ever play State of Decay 1, what's the one thing that game was missing to be perfect?
I think the co-op's in this trailer.
Okay, there we go then. I remember they promised it would be in the second one, but I don't think they officially announced it, unless I've missed that, because they did way back before this was even shown anywhere. They did say our next game will have co-op. That was like a thing that they stated, because everyone wanted co-op in State of Decay 1, but once it had been made and developed, they basically said that they couldn't add it in. Whether or not that's
anything
true,
like Dead Rising 3, I'm gonna super enjoy it. Like Dead Rising 3 co-op was such a fun game.
Yeah, that was too funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you had played State of Decay 1, you'll know that game with co-op would be like a masterpiece, super fun, like ultimate co-op game for people that like zombies or survival games. So in State of Decay 1, what you would do is you have a collection of guys in your encampment, and your encampment could be in many different places on the map. Now they could iterate that. So in the first one, you had like set areas that you could have encampments, and there was maybe about 15 of these or 20 of these on the map. The map was quite big. And so you could like choose like the benefits and negatives of each area of the map. So one might be bigger, but then that means you have to get more resources and keep your, but they would also house more people, which would then mean you need more food and water. So you'd be collecting resources, you'd be building up your encampment, reinforcing it and stuff like this in the first game. So in the second game, you can see that on the trailer now, where they're basically doing the same thing. I'm assuming that they wouldn't be able to program something dynamic enough that you could have it in any house anywhere. So there's probably going to be set locations where you can have your encampment. But the basic idea was, in the first one, you have your encampment, you build up your people, you could play as all of the people that you collect. So the people are, I say collect, because the people are kind of like collectibles. They have their own perks and their own disadvantages and their own skills and strengths that you can level up. And if they die, they perma-die, so that survivor's gone forever, you've lost them. So you really have like that attachment to your characters that you've leveled up. And you would go out, you'd collect stuff, you'd do cars, you'd have like these side quests, you'd have like a main story in the first one. And it was really missing that co-op, because in any zombie survival game, like, it's just begging for co-op to be more fun. So this should have co-op. This will have.
Do you think now, like in co-op, you're gonna, if you die, you lose all your stuff, or?
I believe because it was such a important component of State of Decay 1 that if you die, you will lose your character. So that doesn't mean like game over, like GG.
Yeah.
It means that survivor in your encampment is gone. Whether whether they were a police officer before the breakout and had like bonus like shooting skills or whatever, or whether they were a boxer that had increased like physical strength, that character's dead. If you want to get that again, you're going to have to try and find another survivor like that. So that was what was really cool about it, is that your survival was unique. You had that attachment, and in co-op, I think that it will have that as well. So while you're getting like ganged up on by zombies, you're going to be screaming at your friends to help you, because if you die, that's it. You're gone.
So I'm dying straight away right at the beginning of the game then. Yep.
Alex is dead 10 million times asking for res. Oh, I went to go get the loot box. No.
Remember when we used to play DayZ? And I'd always be like, I'm bleeding out. Help! There's nothing nearby. Yeah. That's me.
Okay.
And yeah, so you got different types of zombies in the first game. You can see it in the trailer of the second game. So in the first one, you had like bloaters and tanks, and sort of similar to what's that co-op zombie game where you run through the level? Left 4 Dead. Similar sort of types to Left 4 Dead and other zombie games. We saw in the trailer a minute ago, there was like a really big fat guy that she like jumped on his back on screen. So there's different types of zombies, different kinds of threats. You can obviously, there's in the first game and also in this one, there's quite a big emphasis on like driving, because it's a big map. You drive around, you get your resources and stuff, so you can like drive through zombies, knock them down. In the first one, you had like this military DLC, and we can see in the video as well, there's like these military complexes which probably have much better like weapons and loot to get, but obviously have more zombies and probably more dangerous types of zombies. So it looks like a really cool zombie survival game. It looks like an improved version of State of Decay 1 with that promise of co-op, which I think will just make it probably one of the best survival zombie games that there is.
It's probably one of those games where like it's essentially a sleep. Like, I think number 1 was like a sleeper hit, and it didn't really like pick off. But this one has potential to like actually go mass market and stuff like that. So when people are playing it and enjoying it, they'll know where it is, because it's quite a hard. It's not really a hard sell, but on the tin, it's quite hard to explain to people. But once they're actually playing it, they're invested in their character and they like earning their experience and they're building their base bigger and stuff like that, and they're in the world and you don't want to lose their persistent character, and they have that excitement and the intensity of what's happening, then people will know, like, get on board with the game. And especially you're seeing it on like Twitch streams and other people being excited for it. I think this game's probably one of the better ones for Twitch and stuff. So yeah.
The only thing that I hope that they really get right is the base upgrading. So you've obviously got, as we can see in this trailer, there's like little squares where they're building different like farming section, a medical section and stuff. But I hope that, I don't see it, so I don't think it'll be there. I think it'll probably be similar to the first one, but I hope that you could do things like upgrading your walls. I hope that they will incorporate like base attacks, because in the first one, in the original game, your encampment would never get like attacked by a horde of zombies. It would only have like stragglers coming through. Whereas in the DLC for the first one, where you it was like a twist. It's not, there are no spoilers here, but you start off like at the beginning of the breakout, and it progressively gets worse. So you start off. Yeah, no. Well, there's no spoilers. Like, so you start off as a in this military base with a whole group of military people with like the best guns and the best weapons, and then as the days go on, things like ramp up in difficulty, and you get like these. And they had this like programmed in-game feature where your base would get attacked by hordes, and you had to like hold out. So you were putting those grenade launchers and all of that ammo to good use, and like mines and stuff. Whereas in the core game, in the campaign, your encampment would never get attacked by like a horde. So I would imagine, because they did it in the DLC, that this is going to happen in the actual campaign of State of Decay 2. And it'd be a shame not to, because like you built this sick base, you've reinforced it, you've got your guard towers, you've got everything in place. If it's not getting attacked, that it's like missing out on a lot of fun. So I really think they will, because they did it in the DLC. But that's what I'm hoping that they will do for the second one especially.
Q. So yeah, what's your next game? Is it another zombie game? Is this it?
It's not another zombie game. I wish it was. I don't think there's not another zombie game that I'm that excited for in comparison to these two. I did give you 2 games. I'm not sure which one you've got footage for.
So go for the one that you're more excited for.
Spider-Man. Let's go with Spider-Man. On the spot pick. So I'm sure if you guys haven't seen that Spider-Man video that was out not that long ago,
so good,
then you're missing out, guys. You're missing out. First of all, I will premise this by saying I'm biased. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so I'm totally biased there. But this game looks so fun, and everyone I know that's seen it, whether they're a Spider-Man fan or not, they're like, this game looks fun.
Yeah, 100%.
We know that Spider-Man is taking a slightly different turn traditionally to what he's been like, in terms of like the new Spider-Man movies especially, which I believe is more actually in line with the original comics.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
The movies are more in line with the original comics, and this is more in line with the original comics. This is like Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe, if I'm not too wrong. So we've kind of got used to like a different Spider-Man from the original, and now they're going down, like you say, that more original track, which I personally like. And the thing that stands out, like, put aside the fact that I like Spider-Man, put aside the fact that he's my favorite superhero, the gameplay in this trailer looks
so good.
They're ratting on you in chat. They said that it would be better if this was a Spider-Man zombie game.
I completely agree. Make it a Spider-Man survival zombie. But the gameplay in this trailer looks so fun. Like the variety of stuff you can do. I don't know if you guys played the like original PlayStation 1 Spider game and then the original the PlayStation 2 Spider games.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 was like.
I played one on the GameCube. Don't know which one that was.
Spider-Man Web of Shadows was also really good as well.
I remember that there was the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games where you'd be like on top of buildings and you'd be like swinging your spider webs like into outer space, and it just worked. Like that was just the game mechanic, and it was crazy, but it was still fun. And then Spider-Man 2 came out, and you actually had the buildings like web slinging mechanics where you'd actually like slingshot from building to building, and that was like, for me, that was like mind blowing at that time, like back on PS2. And now we've got like all that cool stuff, like obviously improved physics and the insane combat that it kind of looks a bit like the Arkham style Batman combat in terms of like the response and counters, but it's got like that leveled up. Like you see him like punching people, knock them into the sky, like comboing to like pull them back down. You've got all these different like web bombs and stuff. Like there was one bit earlier where he like shot like a bit of web to a wall and it like exploded on a guy and covered him in web. The gameplay just looks awesome for this. It's everything that you'd want in a Spider-Man game, especially if you know like the Spider-Man comics, or even if you just watch the Spider-Man movies and you see him do a lot of crazy stuff, which you haven't been able to do much in the current Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
So
it's made by Insomniac as well, which is one of the best studios out there for doing stuff like, and the visual quality of the game and the art style that they've gone for. Like, if you ever saw Ratchet and Clank on PS4 and how good that Ratchet and Clank
it looks so good.
Of, like the best looking games of this generation.
Yeah, looks incredible.
But I'm excited for this because it's basically just Batman Arkham Asylum Spider-Man edition, like with a really polished version, and those were some of my favorite games, like last generation. Even Arkham Knight, like at the start of this generation, was such a sick game. So I'm super excited for this, and the fact that they are going to allow you to play as like Peter Parker as well. So there's kind of like that behind the scenes story mechanic as well. And they said that it's not just going to be one villain in there; it's going to have like his whole rogues gallery of like super villains and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
I think like you say, if you played those Batman like Arkham games, and like for example, I enjoyed those games a lot, but I'm still not a huge Batman fan. I like Batman, but it's not as appealing to like Spider-Man's my favorite. Maybe that's just why, but it's like if you had that same game, but obviously with slightly more graphical improvements and different game mechanics and stuff like that.
That's why we need
the good core. That was this with Superman would be another game that they could maybe we'll see that next year. So this is like that, but with Spider-Man. So you have like the web moves. You're more nimble. It's more about like, you know, the jumping, the running on walls and stuff. Whereas Batman's more about like, you know, all the stuff that Batman does. So I'm super excited for this as a Spider-Man fan, and I think that they, from what we've seen, we haven't, you know, none of us I haven't played it. From what we've seen, it looks like it's doing justice to Batman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That's super exciting.
I'm super excited for this one. Definitely.
And again, PS4 exclusive.
We don't have a release. Apart from this year, we don't have a date yet, do we? It's just this year, right?
Yeah, it's just this year.
I can have a look.
So I imagine we'll probably see more gameplay at E3, and they'll probably launch at the end of the year.
Actually, I'm not too sure. Oh no, that May was the release for the movie. So yeah, I'm guessing
it's first to second quarter.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome.
So we should be seeing it soon, hopefully.
All right. So what was?
But I will touch on this. That it is PS4 exclusive again.
Yeah.
If you know me, you know that I'm not a big fan of exclusives anyway. I think that every game should be on every console, but that's not the world we're in. That's not the way the business works. So it's PS4 exclusive. Again, you guys know my opinion on what the better platform is, but that doesn't mean that the other platforms are bad. It just means that I have a preference.
Paradise is and you can't play this on PC. It's like the fidelity of it all.
Meanwhile, I'm mad that I can't play it on Nintendo Switch. No. Right, okay, yeah.
That's gonna be half the
so,
games coming out this year, mate.
So, my extra pick anticipated game is perhaps a surprise to many. I hope that you've got a video for it. Ni no Kuni 2.
No! It's the wrong one!
No.
Did you not say something else?
No,
I said something better. I don't have footage for Ni no Kuni. You can carry on.
Alright, well, I'll stick with Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah. I
haven't even played Ni no Kuni 1.
But
I think Ni no Kuni 2 looks on point. I wish that I played the first one. I can't say too much about it because I'm not... Obviously, I never played the first one. But from how it looks like it's got a slightly cartoony, slightly Ghibli. It's if I'm not mistaken, the art is like entwined by the Ghibli people, right, or something like that.
Yeah. It's like it was. The first one was done in conjunction with Studio Ghibli, and they made it, and it was like based off one of the stories that the dude helped.
So it's got that Studio Ghibli feel if you've watched the Ghibli movies. It's, you know, in which case it's a little bit cutesy, cartoony, but it's also not on the extreme end of that. So while it's a little bit cutesy, it still looks really cool in certain places with like some of the creatures like those. You know, you got like dragons and stuff like this and bosses that you fight. It's got like a monster collecting mechanic, if I'm not mistaken, where you're sort of fighting and gathering monsters. So it's got a little bit of like a Pokemon sort of vibe to it.
What is it? Okay.
And it looks really cool and fun. Is it coming out on Switch?
No, it's PS4 exclusive.
Yeah. PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, I played number 1 most of the way through. But I mean, I really enjoy it. As you say, you've got this. You can kind of collect these different monsters as you go along. Combat's kind of that mix of sort of you have your encounters that you run into, but it's like you're freely moving stuff around, slightly more so than traditional kind of turn-based stuff. But it's I'm definitely looking forward to number 2 as well.
I think I remember what game I mentioned to you now, 26, which was another good one. There's so many good games coming out this year. It's difficult. It's difficult
one that you
to
mentioned to me is a Megaton. You can't not forget it.
Technically, it's a remake though, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a remake.
It's not really a new release.
For it.
So Ni no Kuni 2 looks really cool. Shadow of Colossus was the other thing.
Yeah, Shadow of Colossus is the other one, which I do have footage for. Which
so
is the one I thought you were going to say.
If anyone in chat has played the original Shadow of Colossus, especially like Shadow of Colossus was ahead of its time. I am positive that most people would agree with that. Playing Shadow of Colossus back in the day on PlayStation 2 was just mind blowing. You had this big huge map that you would ride around. It had these epic landscapes and like scenery, and then you had these huge colossuses that you would like take down. You're like this one little guy on his horse, and you're fighting this guy that's like the size bigger than a skyscraper. And this was back on PlayStation 2, and it looked pretty decent back then still.
Yeah, I know.
And
it's ahead of its time, kind of like something that copied it. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Hey, no.
I never got the chance to play Shadow of Colossus, so I'm super hyped for this. And every piece of gameplay that I've seen for it, this game looks insane. This is it. Like, we've got footage of it being played right now, and this is supposedly like actual gameplay. It's not even like a movie or cutscene. And the music, oh my gosh, the music in this game, 10 out of 10. I can't wait to play this. Like, it's gonna be so sick. That's why I'm super excited for this.
And not just that, but because I'm someone that really values gameplay in a game, I would say gameplay for me is slightly, in fact, is more important than story for me. And Shadow of Colossus is all about that gameplay. It's about taking down these colossuses. So if you look at the gameplay trailers and stuff, you'll see there is videos of gameplay of the Colossus. So you're climbing up his leg, you're attacking his weak points. He's like I think there's one part where he like kneels down or something like that, and you climb up onto his head, and so he has like glowing weak spots that you attack. It looks awesome. If you like epic games, and the graphics look phenomenal. If you like games where you're taking down epic-sized creatures, then I think you can't not enjoy Shadow of Colossus.
I'm definitely picking this up like day one. I'm gonna be streaming it and everything because I don't know, I missed out, and it's kind of one of those games that I found out a bit too late. I think it was. Did it come out on PS1 or PS2? PS2.
I'm pretty sure it was PS2. Yeah.
And the PS2 was the next generation transition happened, so I was playing 360 and like PS3 games at that point. I was like, I'm not necessarily going to go back, and I knew that they re-released it a couple of years ago, but they didn't do any graphical upgrades, and it was kind of jank in terms of controls. But this is a full-on like remake of the game, so I'm super excited to play this and actually like tick it off my list of games that I should have played. I didn't. You know, there's games that you're embarrassed that you didn't get around to playing, but you should have during the time.
Yeah.
So, this is it.
I mean, just look at the video on the screen, like the massive desert. He's walking along like this insane, like big ass platform, and you know that if there's this much open space, you know there's going to be something big to fill it.
Yeah.
Alex is like, this looks familiar. It almost looks like the desert part in Breath of the Wild.
Hey man.
He's so mad.
No, not at all. No, I'm looking for. Because I was late to. Obviously, I grew up as a Nintendo kid, and I was late getting my PS2. So, and then when I picked up my PS2, I picked it up with Shadow of the Colossus and a couple other things, but I just didn't get around to playing it properly. So I'll definitely be revisiting this one as well, because this does look awesome.
Yeah, let's see some of the Colossi and stuff like that. Look at this. God damn! I'm so ready.
I will squeeze in one more honorable mention. I won't talk about it much because I want to get to 2.6's picks. But this game doesn't have a release date yet, so I would just give it a shout out. But obviously, Last of Us Part 2. I think many of us are waiting.
More zombies.
More zombies.
And also more zombies.
Yeah,
more
fair,
zombies.
Fair.
More zombies.
So what about you, 2.6?
So my picks are... Now I need to go find them, what my picks are. So my first pick is... And because it's so close, this is what I'm excited for. Like, I am super excited for this. I'm a story guy. And I played, like, only number 3. I didn't get around to playing number 2 of this game. But the man himself, Kratos, they're going in a direction that I'm excited to see where this goes. And the fact that they've gone from Greek mythology to Norse mythology as well. Always, like, Norse gods and stuff. Always kind of more exciting to me than the Greek ones. I don't know. I guess it's yeah. In terms of like mythology
slightly
and
different.
stuff like that, it's like
No.
Yeah.
Norse mythology's always been like an interesting one anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got your boy Arekkz Gaming as the main character.
Yeah, it's got that boy. It's got that boy. Maybe it's just that I just want to play as Arekkz in it.
It's me.
Yeah, I've liked the changes that they've done to it. It looks graphically impressive as well. I'm just that kind of dude that's very shallow when it comes to games. That's like a good story, and for the game to look good, and for something that I can get immersed in. And this definitely looks like something that I'll get immersed into. It kind of, I don't know. It's like, I kind of see what they've done here. They've looked at Last of Us, and they're just like, I like the relationship between Ellie and Joel. Let's just put that into Norse mythology and make a sick game out of it, and I'm down. This is like Last of Us.
God of War edition.
Yeah, God of War edition. Even like down to the camera angle and everything. It's gonna be sick. And
I thought your kind.
I don't know. In God of War 3, like if they still have those massive, big boss fights, you know, the ones with like where he's like fighting some massive titan and stuff.
Oh
like that.
yeah.
It's gonna look so sick on PS4. I can't wait to play that.
Was it the time where like you pulled his like you pulled like his fingernail off or something like that?
When you're fighting, I think what's his name? I can't remember what his name was. It's like Titan, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, like you climbed all the way up and then like
Yeah,
I played he fights Ares. He fights the god Ares, right, and overthrows him. So he actually fights the god in the first one. So if they can pull something, you know, as big as that, you know, an epic storyline like that in this new one, then it's gonna be good.
Because if there's moments like in God of War 3 where I think one of the best fights that I had in God of War 3 was against Hercules. Like you get these like brand new gauntless fists that he was using, and you just literally like he's trying to throw you off the cliff. He rips up the ground. You just run up the cliff and get his his gauntlets and starts like destroying his face as well. Kratos was like just a guy that used to go ham. He doesn't seem so angry in this. Like all the cheesiness is kind of been taken out, and the stuff that I didn't like. This one seems a bit more serious.
Different direction.
Like, he's like more down. Like even though he's a god, he's more down to earth and like believable. Like so yeah, I'm super excited for this one, and it just looks sick. Like.
Yeah.
I played the first and second, but not the third. So I should play it because it looks awesome, and you played it, and you say it's good. But I've tried to go back and play the first one, maybe like 6 months ago, and let me tell you, that first God of War game is difficult. Back in the day, it was no problem, but now we've got so used to like the nice game and clean mechanics and like easy peasy gameplay. I've tried to play the first one, I got stuck on the first boss, and I rage quit. So if you played the original God of War and you enjoyed it and you've got fond memories, don't try and play it the first one again, because it's not gonna be a good experience. But this looks awesome. So as someone that played the first and second, like the original God of Wars, I feel like they've obviously taken a completely different path. Like you say, a lot of the cheekiness about it, obviously I think that there was nudity in the first one, I think there was in the second one. This isn't gonna be an original God of War like carry on. This is a different twist.
There might be nudity in this. You don't know. We're gonna get Twitch bans.
I remember in God of I think it was the first one. There was like a room that you would go into that had. There was 2 different sections. There was a bath with some women in it, and then in each of these scenes there was also multiple women, nudity, and then there was like these very cheeky cutscenes. involving these areas. This game won't have that. He's got his son. He
knew that he wanted a lady for himself. A little Paradise, little 12-year-old Paradise was like, bounce.
This game is definitely not going to have.
Let me tap that X button, man. Let me tap that X button. Let me go back. Let me hit that save and go back. Let me go back into that.
This game is definitely going to be a different vibe, but I think it's going to be cool. And we've still got Kratos, we've still got our main character, and from what we've seen in terms of the gameplay and the combat, it still has that like, I don't know what the word would be, because it's not exactly gory combat. It's just like very in your face, like he's ripping like the creatures open and stuff like that. So it looks definitely enjoyable.
Cool. So my next pick, even though it doesn't have a release date, it might not be coming out this year. I think we're going to see enough of it that it's basically a 2018 release. If it doesn't come out late this year, then it's coming out super early next year. And IGN put it in their top games of 2018, so I'm going with that. It's coming out this year. Oh, yeah. Get scammed, Paradise. Get scammed. You know it, boy. You know it. Chat's popping off. They know it.
Here we go.
Man like Joel, man like Ellie. This game is like, the last one was definitive for that generation when it came out. I remember first time playing it through. Just the story, it was just captivating. And even watching it now, like Last of Us, well, people stream it now, it's like, it still holds up. Yeah. So I am super excited for this. I don't know if they're going to be able to follow up in the same way that they did, because even like Naughty Dog recently, the quality of the game is slightly tapering off. Like since Uncharted 2, I haven't been enjoying the games. Well, Uncharted 2 and Last of Us, because Last of Us came out, but like Uncharted started kind of falling off after Uncharted 2. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy Uncharted 3 and 4. I just didn't enjoy it as much as Uncharted 2. And Last of Us was such a sick game. I can't just wait to play it. I don't know like how you're feeling about this or whatever, but like where they're going with the story as well, like the fact that I don't know if they make it more Game of Thrones-y, where like more people are like dying all the time as well. It's just gonna be so good.
They take a step back from Joel and Ellie, and they start making us have an attachment to like a colony of survivors, and then you could have like, they're not going to do this. This is just off the top of my head, you know. Then you have like different people going out, you could interject between different of the characters, and then people could be dying. They could make it choice based, like Telltale games, where like you have to make a choice of who dies, and that impacts the whole colony. Like, but in Last of Us, obviously, we've got attached to Joel, we've got attached to Ellie. I think this game still is following that, but the original trailer that they gave us was different characters, right? So
yeah,
we know that there's going to be other characters that are going to be a focus of the story, because the first announcement trailer for this the teaser trailer, it wasn't very long, I think. Did show different characters, so that says to me there's going to be new characters, new people that we're going to be following, and hopefully we'll get to see what happens to Joel and Ellie.
Yeah. So the theory going around after what, like this was one of the first trailers released. There's a theory going around that actually in this trailer, like Joel's dead, and Ellie's just singing a song like remembering like Joel, and that's why she's the one who's killed everybody in the house and stuff like that. So if they go down that line, there's so many ways that they can go with the story that will just be like a great way to continue it as well. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And if there's anything close to the winter chapter in this, because I think that was the best part of Last of Us 1, the winter chapter. Then oh my gosh, mind is going to be blown. Well,
because that's an interesting theory as well, because they mentioned, I think it was in the developer talk at PSX when they first dropped the teaser, they were kind of talking about how the first game was like the focus was on Joel with Ellie, whereas this one's going to be the focus is switching, like it's more about her. So that's a rather interesting theory. But yeah, this is definitely super, because I'm not normally one for these kind of games. I'm definitely not like I know it's not a traditional zombie game, but I'm not like a zombie kind of person. But I played number 1, and I loved it. I'm sorry, Paradise. I still play them, but I'm just not one to like normally. They don't like the topic of zombies doesn't really interest me. But yeah, like Last of Us 1, I absolutely loved it. I think because obviously, yeah, I think it's because I kind of got into Uncharted and stuff, and I was like, let me just see what Naughty Dog have got, and it's just, yeah, it was a really good game. So number 2 is definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think it's important to say that, like you touched upon, Last of Us has made an impact in the majority of the now AAA titles that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So it was like a genre-defining game. I also want to say, I hope that later down the road, when they release some DLC, that is slightly better than we had in Last of Us 1.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. Like, I wouldn't even know how you would describe it, because the gameplay in it was fine, but it was a strange DLC that didn't really add anything to the story. It did some flashbacks and sort of showed a character that was mentioned in the original story that was close to Ellie, and it was a strange deal. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really understand what they were trying to go for there, other than to try and like pull on your heartstrings for Ellie, and I don't think they pulled it off particularly well. So I hope that they can do a bit better job with DLC with the new one.
That's the problem with Naughty Dog. They always make they make brilliant single player games, but they make okay multiplayer games and terrible DLC. Like, I don't think they've released a DLC that's been particularly good, even down to Lost Legacy, that kind of just went into the wind. Like, I haven't finished that or completed it. It's just not as good as the original, like, Uncharted 4 release and stuff like that. So they did definitely, they're a brilliant studio and amazing, and like probably one of the best game studios out there. But it would be nice to see them kind of put more effort into their like post-release content and support for their games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well.
It was good, but it wasn't like whoa. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't play enough of it. Maybe that's why I just didn't play enough of it, because there was other games out at that time and stuff like that. But I'm excited for this game.
So what's numero 3?
Numero 3, also a game not essentially confirmed for 2018, but with their release schedule, I think it's the perfect time for it to come out, and we've seen enough, and there's been recent leaks about it that confirming more of it. So, I don't know how you guys even thought you got these off your list. Game's hot. Game's hot like fire. Oh my gosh. There's one company that just seems to be like, oh no, Japanese companies in general just seem to be making a comeback, and this is a game. I haven't played the originals. I have not played a Kingdom Hearts, but
no, 2Six, let me stop you right there. If anyone's been watching my stream in the last few weeks, they'll know that there is Kingdom Hearts Final Remix 1.5 and 2.5. Get it on PlayStation Network or Amazon. It's not even that expensive. It has all the Kingdom Hearts game, including some of the DS.
But there's so many. It's like Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Ultra Remix 1, Kingdom Hearts Ultra Remix 0.5.
You can enjoy all the Kingdom Hearts games remade on PS4, and they are phenomenal. They're great. They play well. They still keep up. Like, there's obviously it's older like game mechanics, but the controls is like there's no janky controls. Everything still keeps up. So there's still the potential to go back and play the originals if you've got time, which not many of us do anyway. But there's still the potential, and I've been playing the original first Kingdom Hearts in that 1.5, 2.5 final remix. What a mouthful of a name!
Yeah, but like,
and it's amazing.
It's great. Like, every time I look at the list, you need like a flow chart of like diagrams to go through and find out like which way you're actually going through. And
basically, the only ones that you need to play is the first one, which is just Kingdom Hearts. Then you want to play the second, which is just Kingdom Hearts 2, and it might be like Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. But any ones that's got like weird names like 365 Days or whatever, these are the DS games, which I would, if you want to get a core Kingdom Hearts experience, Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, and that will prep you for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think there's also, people have probably done recaps on YouTube as well, if you wanted to just get that up-to-date speed. But look, I haven't seen this trailer, and I'm seeing Toy Story.
Exactly. Yeah. I told you, this game, it's gonna be the one. It's gonna be the one.
I had this as like an extra mention if we had time at the end, so I'm glad that someone's picked it, because I am a core Kingdom Hearts fan. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 back when it was released. It's like up there with like
this
the
guy's
Final
like he's
Fantasy.
got as an honourable mention on his list. Paradise sent me his list. It wasn't there. You betrayed
No,
it.
I've got my own.
It.
I've got a couple more games that I'm gonna mention if we have time at the end as well. But Kingdom Hearts if they can bring it up to speed and do it justice, this is going to be one of the best games of the year, I think. Especially if you have that attachment to the series.
I do think it's going to come out this year because there's no big Final Fantasy game this year, so they'll probably release it towards the end of this year. That's why I include it in my list. Like, it is essentially this year. The other game that I was going to put here, like, it's cool, but I'm not going to name it, but you guys can probably guess what it is. But like, yeah, because there's no big Final Fantasy game out this year, I think that this is actually coming out this year, and then next year they might have something else like episode 1 of Final Fantasy 7 remake or something like that. So, and this looks for game's been in development for ages now, and they've like put out like loads of leaks on the different worlds that are going to be in the game. Some super exciting ones in there. So yeah. I'm
excited for what they can do with the combat, because if they can like add like that awesome like combat, like action RPG combat that we've seen in many other games into Kingdom Hearts, which we can kind of see in this trailer they have achieved, it's just gonna be so fun, so insane.
Yeah, they've even like there's a section of this trailer that's actually got like mechs in it and stuff.
What I will say, anyone that hasn't played Kingdom Hearts before, like obviously you can see they're in Toy Story, they're going through other universes of movies and things, and so you can't like if you hate these type of like things like if you hate Toy Story, if you hate Disney stuff, you don't have to be a massive fan, but if you hate it, you probably won't enjoy it, because that's part of the allure of the Kingdom Hearts series, right? But if you don't hate those things, and even if you aren't a big fan of those things, you can still lose yourself in this game in just the fantasy, the imagination, and just the funness of it.
Yeah, I didn't play originally like any of the Kingdom Hearts because I thought they looked like super childish. I did like the song of it, whatever it is. What's the theme song? The one with Yutana or whatever her name is.
Oh,
I don't remember the name of it, but I know the song you mean.
But like after playing World of Final Fantasy and that being one of my favorite games this generation, I was like, yeah, maybe I've just been an extra guy and not playing games just because they look a certain way and stuff like that. So World of Final Fantasy kind of got this more on my list now because, yeah, it just looks cool. The characters look cool. There's probably going to be Final Fantasy 7 characters in there somewhere. So I'm like,
there's going to be Final Fantasy in there. They might even have more than that, than just 7.
Yeah.
Like you said as well, you really need to, if you see a game and you think, I just don't like it because of certain aspects or the way the style of it. Like for example, Final Fantasy 15, I looked at it and it had taken away a lot of the features of other Final Fantasy games. It looked, I'll just be blunt, when I saw Final Fantasy 15, it looked like an angsty like boy band following story. Like you had a bunch of guys that were driving around in a car together. They were all wearing like black. They all looked a bit down. Not this is really angsty. And I almost didn't get it, and I did get it, and it's a great Final Fantasy game. So if you're looking at Kingdom Hearts, you're thinking, oh, it looks a bit childish, it looks a bit not my kind of thing. But if you like that modern style of combat and you think you can handle it, it may be worth trying, because it could be one of your favorite games.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for my list. Basically, 2 games that are not actually coming out in 2018, and and God of War. So yeah, I'm super excited. There are a couple of other honourable mentions.
I've got a couple if we want to do them.
Yeah.
Sure.
So one honourable mention, and will we see it in 2018? Is anyone's guess? Star Citizen. It's been in the works for so long.
Never coming out in 2018. That game's like.
But here's the thing: we're not going to get the full game, but we might get a good portion of playable Star Citizen in 2018. And if no one knows what Star Citizen is, I don't know how you don't, because it's been in development for so long. You can buy into it in early access. You'll get access to a few different things. It's a space game. It essentially promises, if I'm not mistaken, like an infinite procedurally generated universe. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it promises that you can do all kinds of things, from discovering new planets to pirating other ships to doing cargo runs to basically anything you want in a sci-fi game. The list of things that they promise is huge, and that's why the game's been in development so long. But what we have seen is that it graphically looks great, and that they are actually working towards doing a lot of the things that they promised. But that is not going to be released anytime soon. But we might have something this year.
Like I played the 3.0 version of it the other day on stream, and people were just like, like every 2 seconds I was doing something, and like if it lives up to its potential, like my mind was being blown like as I was playing it. My bio was being blown at 10 frames per second because that's how bad it runs and how poorly it's optimized at the moment. But like the fact that I was able to go to a planet, like land on it, get out, and like the fidelity of the graphics and everything, and how big the ships are. And that, if they fully live up to the potential of like ships with like 80 people and having these massive command decks and having a separate single player, oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
I think for another honorable mention, which I'm surprised that you didn't pick 2.6 as one of your games.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your reasons why you didn't pick this game. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Because I didn't pick it because I like it, but I'm not excited for it. I'm more of a GTA man. Like,
okay,
I like modern time stuff. Like, I played through Red Dead, and it was a good game, but I kind of got bored like halfway through. There was fun things to do, and I liked it. It
almost had like a Witcher 3 problem, right? Where there was so much to do, so big, like, but eventually it's just like, okay, I feel like I've done it all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
That being said, brilliant game.
I'm not gonna say it's like an overhyped game or anything like that, but it just didn't bring me the enjoyment that other people were getting from it. Like, I really enjoyed the multiplayer side of it, but like, I think I was just disappointed that I couldn't lasso people in like multiplayer. Like, I was thinking that I was gonna be able to tie someone up, put them on the back of my horse, and then put them in front of the train tracks and get them run over just like you could do in single player. But the lasso never worked in multiplayer, so I was just like, no. But like, and a lot of the story for the single player as well, like, it was bookended where not much happened in the middle, but a bunch of stuff happened at the beginning and some sick stuff happened at the end. But in the middle, it was just like, run to Narnia or whatever, and you had to trot across like the field that was just open-ended and bare for like ages, and it was kind of like filler mission. So the game was good, and if you like cowboys and stuff like that, it's a great game. But I'm not gonna say that I'm as excited as I would be if they said that they were releasing like GTA 6 anytime.
I mean, I really enjoyed Red Dead 1. I'm not gonna say it was like one of my top games ever, but I really like that aesthetic and that time era. So I think Red Dead 2 is going to have potential to be a super awesome fun game.
Fair. So I'll go a couple quickly, just to throw at the end, since I said I was going to say my honorable mention. One of them goes to Wargroove, right, on Switch, but like I'm super excited for this because it's basically like medieval-looking Advance Wars, and I don't know whether we're ever going to get Advance Wars. So like in the interim, that's going to be my my feel for that. So yeah,
is that only Switch?
I forget the other platforms.
Switch on PC, but I'm not too sure.
Because I liked Advance Wars a lot, and I like medieval time eras, so this could be good for me.
I'm not 100% certain. I think it's being developed by the same studio that are working on what's his name? How have I forgot their name? Stardew Valley guys. I completely forgot their name. I don't know why. Whatever. Point is, looks really cool. If you guys know Advance Wars, top-down, turn-based strategy. It's got some really interesting kind of different factions and races and stuff. So yeah, that's supposed to come out like I think it's supposed to be early-ish this year. So there's that which is pretty exciting. A couple of other things as well are so. It hasn't been confirmed. We don't know if it's going to come out, but I genuinely think we're going to see Smash Brothers on Switch this year, right? I think it's just like Nintendo have had a strong first year with Switch. They're going to have a strong second year with Switch because I'm predicting they're going to bring out the Wii U version, re-release that as a deluxe package with all the DLC, a few new characters, maybe like the Splatoon character, an ARMS character, someone from like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and we'll have that. So hopefully, fingers crossed for that. And then a couple of super quick ones. Obviously, Dragon Ball FighterZ, super excited for that one. That comes out same day as Monster Hunter. Gonna be hard to juggle that one, but I will be playing that one a fair bit. And finally, one that I do plan to cover a fair bit on the channel. I know that like EA might not be in everyone's good books right now because of all the stuff, but I'm still looking forward to Anthem. Like, I'm one of those people that has an open mind for everything, just because of what EA just because of some of the stuff that's happened recently with Battlefront and stuff. I'm not gonna judge a game before we know anything about it. I am super looking forward to Anthem. Has some really interesting potential. I don't know whether we'll get there this year. I feel like I know it's supposed to be this year, but I feel like it's one of those games that
next year.
I feel like it'll be in first quarter next year. But the thing is,
I feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's going to get delayed, but there's no reason for it to be delayed.
It might not, and I hope it doesn't. But the thing is, even if it does, right? Like, I mean, even if it does, and we get it Q1 next year, I wouldn't necessarily even mind, because I feel like if it does, we get a beta this year. So I reckon at some point we'll be playing it this year anyway. Yeah. So, yeah.
It makes no sense for it to be delayed, but then it doesn't make any sense for it to be released this year. Because if EA are coming out with Battlefield at the same time, like, why would they release it and then do the same thing that they did with Titanfall, where it's like, it gets sandwiched between a bunch of games like Call of Duty. Actually, but EA's stupid sometimes, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, to be honest, they might release it on the same day as Battlefield and say with like 1,000 loot boxes, and then say, oh yeah, the game failed because we, in hindsight, we might not have released it.
But also, like, the thing is, if they're sensible about things as well, like, even though, like, I know Destiny 2 is an interesting place right now. It's not exactly, you know, like the kind of megaton it once was, but at the same time, like, if Anthem is comparable, is like, people are calling it like EA's Destiny, right? So. And there will be some kind of, you know, as a tradition, there will more than likely be some kind of Destiny expansion of sorts in September. So I feel like if they really want to, like, monopolize, or because especially it depends on what happens with that expansion. Imagine if it comes out and Destiny 2 still isn't too hot, right? And then EA come out afterwards and be like, oh, January, here's Anthem, here's like suddenly something to fill your Destiny void. Everyone could like flock towards. So it could be, I honestly, whenever it comes out, I'm not too sure, but it's still something I'm super excited about. I mean, you know, 2Six is a massive fan of mechs. Like, I still like mech suits as well. So yeah, like, it's third person.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, and I think people are concerned about it being loot boxes, but it's better that the loot box situation happened with Battlefront than Anthem, because if Anthem came out and it was like a 10-year game, then that would have been around for ages. But the fact that it's come out now, you know that there's not going to be any trashy loot boxes in Anthem to do anything, because if they were heading that way,
here's the thing, though.
Correct that.
Here's the thing: loot boxes aren't bad. It's just badly done loot boxes are bad in games. So, people, like, there has been a bit of recent outcry with the Destiny Eververse, like, loot boxes. But that aside, that's still all cosmetic. That's still like, it's cosmetic things. It's not actual gameplay in Eververse and Destiny. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, the main problem with that is that they've taken stuff that used to be in the game and they put it behind this thing. But that's a discussion for another time. For the time being...
But here's the thing. This ties into Anthem. Like, so is there going to, you know, are EA going to do their typical Battlefront loot box in Anthem? Well, probably not, because they got the whole internet called them out for it. But I think, should we expect them to have no loot boxes, or should we expect something maybe like Eververse?
I think they're going to go in the complete opposite direction and not have any loot boxes.
I think that would be brilliant. But I think that it would be realistic to set expectations at, you know, these companies are almost having to use microtransactions to get the money that they are expecting, and so we should adjust. We should still obviously hold our position in we're not going to support massively, you know, pay to win content that you don't like, so you don't lose that. But also put your expectations in check for the type of microtransactions that are beneficial to the game and not and to the company, and also to you, and not obviously detrimental to the experience of playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if that's actually true, that these companies need that money to make games. Supposedly, I could be completely wrong, supposedly games are more expensive to make, but they're making just as much money from the actual sales of the game and stuff like that to actually cover the development of said game. And then any money from loot boxes is actually just stuff on top of that. So while games are more expensive, more people are buying games, so it kind of counters it compared to the games back in the days where it's like took smaller teams to make it, and it didn't require as much to make the games. Like now it's bigger teams, but they're making more money because the games industry is actually bigger. So while they might be saying it's more expensive, they could be just saying it's more expensive so that they could get more money out of us. But like, personally, I don't mind microtransactions. I always feel like there's stuff that I do want to buy, and if I can get some cool stuff that they weren't going to add, and it pays for some artists on the team that wasn't going to be out of work, then I don't really mind, because there's a bunch of people, like, during games development, like, once it finishes, a bunch of people get let go because they don't have any content to work on. If DLC kind of enables that for more people to like, be there and work in the studio, and for it to be more sustainable, I'm down for that. So.
To my understanding, the companies will more often than not make their money back from the sales of the original game. But what microtransactions do is, increase the lifetime of the game, and also if a game is performing well after its release, then they're going to be enticed to release more content for that game to extend its lifetime, which is what we see in these expansions. And yes, they charge for the expansions and they charge microtransactions, and that's the culture of gaming, and it's not ideal. But if we're to believe what the game developers are telling us and showing us with their numbers, then they are needing these microtransactions to produce the games that we want. That's what we are being led to believe. Is that true? Well, I don't know. I'm not the guy that has all the that has all the data from the sales. But that's what we're being led to believe. And if that is the case, I think we should manage our expectations with microtransactions in these games. And obviously, we should keep doing what we're doing, or what many people are doing on the internet when they're calling out bad types of microtransactions. And some people argue, cosmetic microtransactions are gameplay. I fundamentally disagree. I think that if you look across many of the free-to-play and pay-to-play games within the past few years that have done good cosmetic microtransactions, there has been no detriment to any of the gameplay, and that these games have done well because of it. And the games that are doing pay-to-play microtransactions have either failed or are mobile games, which is where that type of economy works.
I feel like people just need to essentially, loot boxes are now a problem. In hindsight, looking at it, loot boxes are now a problem, but they just need to take the content out of the loot boxes and stop that RNG mechanic where you don't know what you're getting and you need to buy 1,000 boxes just to get the one item that you want.
Yes, I agree, because it's gambling.
Yeah, that's where you look at as you look back at way before loot boxes and kind of microtransactions became a big sort of hot topic. They've been in MMOs for years. MMOs have done it in a really good way where they have what they call the cash shop, where you can buy specific items you want. You
an outfit.
Yeah, you go to Guild Wars, you go to Black Desert, you're I want that outfit, I'll pay for it. And then people are happy to do that because it means that you're not forced to pay for it, but if you want it, that you put down X amount of money, $2 or $5, you've got that costume and you're done. Yeah, the loot box thing, the only time I like loot boxes is I like them if you earn them in game, because the notion of opening a loot box is fun because it's like opening a Pokemon booster pack. But yeah, when you want to go after an item and you have to pay for that item, you pay for a box that might not give you that item. That's annoying. So yeah, I don't mind cosmetic microtransactions provided you can buy specifically what you're after. And then, yeah, I feel like loot boxes just, and ultimately the other thing as well is just they should just give people a chance to earn these things in game and outside the game. I mean, that's why the whole Eververse thing is a situation. If you could go and earn those ghost shells and those sparrows and those shaders and everything like that externally, but then you could also go and buy a loot box if you want, people wouldn't mind so much. But the fact that half the content that was new has been put behind these things and you can't get them anywhere else, that's a problem. So yeah, that's
even on a core level, let's say, okay, we made a game and then we put out a game with loot boxes in them. Why are the loot boxes so expensive? If it's a randomized thing. And secondly, why can I get duplicates? Having duplicates would alleviate half of the issues that you had with loot boxes. It shouldn't be, it's more weighted to you getting a bad item. It should be more weighted to you getting a really good item if you're paying a bunch of money to get these loot boxes, right? And then it's okay, no, you buy a loot box, you get some really trash items, and it's duplicates of what you previously have, so you have to spend $20 instead of the $10 that you might have had to spend to get the items that you wanted. And that's where people get really annoyed with things anyway. But yeah, I think Anthem is going to be a good game.
Hopefully back to it. Anthem, I think what we've seen looks amazing. Super excited. EA or not, I think EA have an up and down track record. But I think that should be set to the side and you should focus on the game, especially because it's not released yet. Wait and see what happens.
That's what I always do. Irrespective of what developers have published done in the past, I'll always keep an open mind to new games. So if someone if someone's done something or they've made a bad game, sometimes you'll get people who be like, oh, the last game was rubbish, I'm not even going to consider this one. It's I look at every game with a completely fresh slate. And Anthem looks exciting. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. I like third-person games. I like mechs. I like the kind of open world MMO light aspect that you can kind of sort of get. So yeah, hopefully it should be good fun.
Yeah, it'll be super exciting. But where the problems with these loot boxes arise is when they don't have people that know how to create a good economy, make these things anyway. So it's just I don't know.
I got one more crispy pick for this year.
Okay.
Which no one's mentioned, which also surprises me. Far Cry 5.
What, you mean Far Cry 3.
Close your heart to the
3,
desperation.
if you get what I'm saying. It's basically the third version of the third time they're releasing Far Cry 3 again, basically. Far Cry hasn't changed since 3. Far Cry 3 was an amazing game, but then they released Far Cry 4, and it was basically the same. And then Far Cry
I think they did 4, then they did Primal.
Yeah, now this is like the third one.
I think this is one that's being labelled as Far Cry 5, I think that's the title.
Yeah.
But that being, like, I never played Primal. But I enjoy the Far Cry series. I think that Far Cry is always... hopefully they iterate enough for it to be something, you know, a bit fresh, a bit new. But Far Cry is fundamentally fun. If they don't innovate anything, then it's just going to be same old, you know, which should be a slight letdown. But from what I've seen of Far Cry 5, looks interesting. I'm excited to see more and hopefully try it.
Yeah. I don't know, Far Cry 3 was an amazing game. I hope they come out with a Blood Dragon mod for this one as well. Blood Dragon was a sick thing.
So good, so good.
So good, so good.
It
Alright.
would be a missed opportunity if they didn't, I think. Like, they did Blood Dragon did so well, if I'm not mistaken, that I think that they couldn't almost not do it in this next one. But we'll have to wait and see.
Also, like, one of my honourable mentions for this year is something that I don't usually play, but I'm kind of getting gradually into it. And hope it hasn't been announced, but I feel like it is coming out this year, is Pokemon's 2018 for Nintendo Switch. So I know Alex is salty that I mentioned that right now.
No, I'm not salty at all. I'm surprised.
I'm Pokemon man, but it looks like they're actually making like massive departures from. Well, it sounds like the development's making massive departures from like the traditional Pokemon formula, and I want to play that. I want to play it. I've been catching Pokemon on our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, one of the mods is going to put a link in the Discord chat by placing exclamation mark Discord right now. You can catch the Pokemons in the Mr. Robot chat. Yeah. But I don't know. I just need the Pokemon to be a Pokemon MMO. One of these days, they'll release a Pokemon MMO.
I don't know how it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I think all of us back on, like, I'm assuming all 3 of us have played, like, at least Pokemon Red or Blue back in the day, hopefully. Since that, even go back to the TV program, it's the perfect game for MMO. Why has it not been done?
I don't know. Then they can't release a game every year and milk everybody for money.
They could. I think they could do both.
They could release DLC expansion packs, I guess. It'd probably be easier that way.
It's a perfect formula for an MMO.
Yeah, it is literally.
And they haven't done it, and what a letdown that is. Instead, we kind of got Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Go is good and bad in its own ways, but a Pokemon MMO is what is. I'm not even a massive Pokemon person, but it's got all the stuff for an MMO, so hopefully we'll get there.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see any of like Cyberpunk this year as well.
Oh yeah.
Man, we haven't heard from that like in ages. Anyway, let's change the topic. Because there was someone missing from all of these Game of the Year things, and like, yeah, it's kind of bad that they are missing from this. Like, I don't think we said even. No, we said one Xbox game that was State of Decay 2. So there's recently been some rumors, and I want to get your guys' opinions on this.
Crackdown 3 honorable mention. Sorry, done.
Pardon?
Crackdown 3 honorable mention.
So Crackdown 3 honorable mention. Crackdown 3K should have come out like last year.
Should have done, but I'm still looking forward to it.
So I have more of a attachment to Xbox franchise than I do with any other console, really. But Xbox is basically dead at the moment. Like, I bought an Xbox One X the other day and I haven't unboxed it because there's no reason to be playing anything on Xbox at the moment. But I do want them. I feel like 2018 is to 2019 is gonna be the start of their comeback. Like, Xbox, if you've been watching what they've been doing, is gradually fixing the issues with how their content is, and maybe now they have looked at it and they've been like, oh, the Nintendo Switch is selling buckets because they've released these single player narrative driven games that people want to buy. Content, they have content on the platform. They've seen that PlayStation's been killing it because they've had content on their platform for people to play. No one's gonna play a console with no games. Why is no one gonna play a console with no games? So
I'm getting flashbacks to Wii U or Switch back at the.
No, Switch's been perfect the whole year. Switch been solid since the moment it dropped.
So yeah, Wii U had like basically no games for the thing.
It was the Wii U, wasn't it? They released the Wii U and it's just had no games, and then it didn't get any games.
So I do feel like with the Xbox One X there as a powerful console and all that stuff, now they can focus on bringing content, and like even if it means that they just start now, and when their next generation console comes out, whatever it is, Xbox 2 when it comes out, that they've actually gone in and they've invested in studios and they started kind of like a content pipeline where it's not just Fable, Forza, Gears, Halo on repeat, then I'm down for whatever. Because like Xbox has always been a really good platform for like multiplayer games and stuff like that. So I can't wait to see what they do, because I'm more of a multiplayer man when it comes to like competitive stuff. So yeah. Can't wait to see that. So what they've essentially done is someone on the forum Reset Era put out a bunch of rumors, and this guy has some credibility because before, I think it was one of the E3s, he essentially listed every single thing aside from like 2 things that were actually going to be in the E3 presentation before anybody else knew what they were going to be. So this is the rumor that he says: I would love to revisit Albion. So basically he's hinting that there is an Albion game, which is, if you don't know, Fable.
Fable was good.
Fable needs to make a return. Like if it's a co-op Fable game and it's made by Playground Games, I'm down. I'm down, because that UK studio could be Playground Games that they think, because they're rumored to make an open world action RPG, which is basically Fable. Like if Playground Games is making that, you've seen what they've done with Forza Horizon. That's basically one of the best racing games out there. While we were working at Microsoft, me and Arekkz used to work with them, and I feel like working with the studios, you get to see like what their work ethic is, and a bunch of the studios just like are whack. I'm not gonna name them on stream, but like Playground has always been like,
they're a good studio.
Like clockwork. They're professional. Like they are professional about it. They're so sick. And the other rumor that is a third-person Perfect Dark game made by Coalition. So
third person?
Yeah, third-person co-op game.
Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah, so that being, if it's an action-adventure spy game as well, kind of like, you know when they released the Xbox One original reveal, they had that Shanghai game. If it's like that Shanghai game, but with Perfect Dark, oh my gosh. Maybe that's what they were sitting on. They were sitting on that. They were like waiting to make a spy game with Joanna from Perfect Dark. Oh my gosh, that's going to be sick. And
maybe it'll be third person, you play as Elvis instead. Shout out to Elvis.
Yeah, shout out to boy Elvis. Imagine if they come back and it's like third person and they have all those weapons and you're doing like third person multiplayer combat and stuff like that with like the laptop gun and the far side scope and all that stuff.
Who remembers Farsight? Shout out in the comments down below or in chat. Who remembers Farsight? Just OP with no weapon, gun. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I would also love to play a the Crackdown 3 campaign in 4-player co-op. I thought that was a given. Yeah.
4-player.
I thought that was kind of given, like that was going to be 4-player co-op, Crackdown 3.
I would have, if it wasn't any co-op at all, that would have been ridiculous, but 4-player sounds good.
Yeah. And I would love to play Forza with the Rising Sun. So that sounds like it's going to be Forza Horizon in Japan. So that's like
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift. Everybody.
I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo. Yeah.
So I think that's a great setting for it. I don't know why. There's certain franchises that belong or need to go to certain countries, like Assassin's Creed needs to go to feudal Japan, but Ghost of Tsushima, or whatever is, beat that there.
Yeah, honorable mention that game looks pretty cool.
That's not coming out this year, though.
Oh, is it not this year?
I don't think it's coming out this year. Maybe it's coming out this year. I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Yeah. Why Willis has put that the knuckles in the chat? It's just making me laugh. No way.
You got that.
I was like completely lost my train of thought then. And then Age of Empires 4. So Age of Empires 2 was one of the best.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah.
One of those games. So I'm looking for a good RTS to play. Command and Conquer's dead, and that's like my favorite RTS series. And that's EA's done that. Why you kill my Command and Conquer?
Maybe it'll come back one day.
You'll come back one day. One day you'll have Command and Conquer.
I always
StarCraft
preferred...
is free now.
I always preferred Age of Empires to Command. I love Command and Conquer, but I always preferred Age of Empires, so I'm quite happy that we could be seeing another one.
Yeah.
Well, I preferred Age of Mythologies, but still, either way, yes, good games.
So the next rumor is I'd like to have a really high player count, connections per session for Xbox's biggest franchise. So does that mean Halo Battle Royale? Let's go! 100 players. No, but I always thought like Halo deserved to get like the Battlefield treatment, like.
Yes, it definitely deserved like 50v50 maps.
Yes.
At least.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Or like in that 50 versus 50 and those epic things where it's dropping in, you had like Pelican gunships and stuff. So those are the drop ships that come in that you see a lot of time in Halo, and like Scarabs and stuff like that. That would be where like Halo could shine and kind of like create its own thing, because like the core like multiplayer for Halo's good, but I don't know if it appeals to the mass audience anymore. So having a massive battlefield with like all this stuff going on, like destructible environments and like spaceships coming down, and like Covenant versus the UNSC or whatever it's called, that will be like 10 out of 10.
Like a bit of a Planet Side 2 feel.
Planet Side
would
2
be cool.
thing. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Damn.
I like mechs, but the next is this Mech Warrior, but I've never really had an appeal. I think I distinctly like animated weeb mechs rather than just like big ass tanky mechs and stuff like that. So that is another one that's on there, Mech Warrior 5. And then he says that he doubts you get anything for Conquer, Banjo, Crimson Sky. So I feel like Conquer's one that they definitely need to like revisit, and I don't know why they haven't revisited it. Like Conquer's Bad Fur Day was one of the best games, and if they had re-released or made a new one of those, that would be doing really well. A load of people didn't play Crimson Skies, which was a really good multiplayer adversarial playing game. It sounds stupid, but it was super fun to like fly around. It was like the Twisted Metal of airplane games, if you ever know what that is. And Banjo, I've never really had the appeal to play Banjo. It always felt like fake Mario to me, but
whoa, Banjo is amazing.
Yeah, so
it was alright.
People like Banjo and stuff.
There's a lot of pretty strong Banjo fans, I think. But it was alright, I thought.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think now's the kind of after talking about that stuff.
Wait, what about the last one? Did we cover?
The last one is make of it what you want. Is there another one? I don't think there's
another. Is that hinting at another prototype game, or am I just reading into it too much?
I think you're just reading into it too much.
I would like another
prototype
game.
Activision anyway.
I would still like another prototype game.
Yeah,
that series is good.
No, Prototype was alright, but there was a game called Hulk Ultimate Destruction made by the same studio, and when they didn't get the license, they made Prototype, but it was basically Prototype in the Hulk thing, and you could like pick up people, run to the top of a building, jump off and power drive them into the ground as Hulk. It was like the greatest thing. And you just like run through like traffic and just like pick up everything. It was like a really good actual superhero game, so I'm super... if that studio ever comes back, there's a few games like that I would like to come back. The other one is Path of Neo. It was a Matrix game. I never got its time to shine. I really want that to be back in the limelight. But I think that's it. Is there any other games that you feel like Xbox could make or release to kind of put them back on track?
They just need to like. There aren't any Xbox exclusives this year that I've seen. Is there anything that's strictly Xbox exclusive? State of Decay is PC as well.
All of the games are PC, so they have this initiative now where every game that they make is going to be on PC as well. So even Halo 6 is going to be on PC.
As obviously a preferred PC player, that's great for me. But I think if you're going against
your core audience,
if you're going against the console audience, you've got to make those exclusives.
Yeah, but like I feel like
where's the Gears of War as well?
They should never have cancelled Scalebound. Yeah,
Platinum should have made a good game, and then they wouldn't have had to cancel it.
It was awesome. I was there when it was announced. I went to the behind the scenes thing. I sat there with Hideki Kamiya, and they gave us a demonstration. The game looked so cool. Like we saw more than they showed in the trailer. It looked really cool. I was excited for it and everything. It was running a little bit janky at the time. Like the frame rate was.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they cancelled it, because it was probably just like a vertical slice and nothing else, Alex. And so people were like, "Oh."
All right. So maybe they should make Scalebound 2.
Yeah. Maybe that's one of the things. They might come back out on stage this year and be like, one last thing, Scalebound remastered, uncancelled edition.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But, yeah,
but all I'm saying, right, is Kamiya never makes a bad game. So yeah.
I'm trying to think if that's true, but yeah, that is actually true. I think most of their games have been pretty sick.
Exactly.
So yeah, good.
Cool.
Only thing that no one's touched upon is possible Division 2. Maybe?
I reckon we'll get a Division 2 announcement this year, and then they'll release it in 2019. I reckon that will happen.
Yeah, I don't think because Ubisoft is normally 6 to 8 months of marketing promotion. So yeah, you'll probably get early March, and that will be like 3 years on the actual date of the Division. So. And
it's I'll be super excited for that because I think because Division we had a lot of fun. It's a great game. The point where in order to truly take it to the next level, they just need to rebuild it from the ground up. So yeah, I think that would be great. That would be super solid.
Yeah, I think if they look at the missteps of what Destiny's done now, where they've basically just released the same game and called it 2 rather than actually making meaningful iterations to the core game, and making it like a expansive universe with full-on depth that the players want and require, then they can essentially be in such a better place. But if they keep on doing what they do now, where it's just there's no variation in the environment. I think one of the things that got super boring about the Division is there wasn't really any variation in the enemy types. They didn't release any new factions after release. They didn't. The environment of this being in New York City was kind of just the same-ish everywhere you went, and the abilities and customization of it, yes, the gear sets kind of brought a kind of new broad appeal to playstyles and variety, but all of that stuff should have been inbuilt to the kind of talents that you had.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
But if they listen to the feedback of Division 1, and if they make those needed changes, then Division 2 could be one of the
100%.
most awesome games.
We look at Ubisoft as well. A lot of the time, their second time around is great. Assassin's Creed 1 was interesting but wasn't perfect. Assassin's Creed 2 was really good. Watch Dogs 1 missed the mark. Watch Dogs 2 was actually a really solid game. I have full. Because the guys at the studio, the guys at Massive, do great work, and they're a great studio. So I have full faith that they can turn it into what they need to. But I think you get to the point where you can only improve a game so much through updates. There comes a point where you just need to start again. So given the chance to make a Division 2, it'll be so good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The Division should have ended up as a zombie apocalypse MMO.
for Paradise.
I'm digging it.
I know the core fan base doesn't like that because it's taking away the theme of it, but it would have solved a lot of the problem with enemy variation because you can make infinite types of zombies.
Well, I think as well, why take it to zombies? Take it to just ahead of modern combat where you've got mechs and things like this, exosuits and mechs and stuff. That will bring in you can have big mechs, you can have exosuit guys,
semi-futuristic.
Exactly. And then you've got all the abilities which are already kind of semi-futuristic. You've got grenades that you throw down and roll around and explode at people. That's already pretty much in the realm of exosuits, I would say, in terms of technology. So
yes, Paradise has single-handedly just got me excited for the Division 2 more than I was just then. If they change the setting completely and go semi-futuristic to allow them to do a bunch of things and stuff like that, then I'm like, yo, I'm not talking about jetpacks and things like that in other games. I'm talking about just so that they have a kind of theme in place that allows them to do have more variety. Then
you've got enemy variety, you've got a ton new insane abilities that they could add in that theme. Obviously they need to take it away from a samey area New York where everything's streets and snow and trash and cars. They need to have that variation, and I don't think that would be too hard to do. And I think that they would have the premise, taking in all the feedback of Division 1 for a completely awesome game.
I think the biggest addition to the Division 2 as well was just be player count. A lot of the atmosphere was lost because it was only like 24 players per zone. They need to up that. Like it needs to be 60 minimum in like a zone or something, or even 50 minimum per zone, so they can kind of get those feels out there. But I think that was a good time to wrap it up because that's nearly 2 hours of this discussion, guys. 2 hours.
Yeah. 2 hours of non-stop games.
Although hot off the press.
What?
To add to the Battle Royale extravaganza that keeps them going, there's now going to be a Paladins Battlegrounds. You know that.
What's the player count?
Because there's
there's some like Battle Royale games coming out now, and it's like 2-player Battle Royale. What?
You mean the MOBA, right?
I mean the MOBA. Yeah, I'm not too sure how many people. I was scanning it super quickly. The trailer looks funny because there's like But anyway, that's topic for another time. I don't want to extend it any longer. Yes.
Yeah. Good
chat.
Thanks. Yes. Laters. Guys, I don't know how to end it. Thanks to everyone that came along to the stream today. And follow. Don't forget to hit that follow button. I'm going to be back in about 2 weeks with another discussion talking about something, probably like a review. Or maybe it might just come just after Monster Hunter World so that we can do like a review of Monster Hunter. Or I think there is an event next week anyway with Monster Hunter, so then maybe we will do a bunch of stuff about Monster Hunter related things. Then if you don't see me then I'm gonna be streaming daily anyway. So we've got a brand new stream schedule coming with a bunch of different games and stuff on different days. So if you see me not playing Monster Hunter, don't worry. Don't hit that unfollow button. Okay? Come back. We're gonna be going big on Monster Hunter later this month. We're gonna be making a big squad. We're going to have viewer lobbies as well. So just like we did with the beta, we're going to have viewer lobbies. So if you have any help, you need any help completing any of your monsters, then definitely come along to those sessions. Arekkz is going to be streaming as well. So it's not going to be just me. It's going to be Arekkz, Paradise, and me streaming at the same time simultaneously. And there is... Yeah. I completely lost my train of thought. And other than that, we're going to be having daily streams on the channel anyway, in between now and then for different games that we're going to be doing. So stay tuned. Don't get too scared if Monster Hunter's not on the channel, because I know a lot of you guys are here for Monster Hunter. We've also got a bunch of stuff in the pipeline for ideas for this evolving our YouTube channel. So they're going to be seeing a bunch of different content on the channel actually in the relatively soon to near future. And we got loads of side projects going on as well. So... GG. Exciting year,
exactly. And if you guys are watching this as a video on the channel, then you can find links to both 2Six and Paradise's Twitch channels down below. Make sure you hit that follow button if you guys haven't done so. As I say, they stream a lot more, so you can then hit them up, and of course you can follow stuff on the channel too.
And if you're here now and you want to follow Paradise, because he's going to be streaming with us a lot, he's in the chat right now. You can click on his name and hit that follow button and give him a cheeky follow.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, you can check me out on Twitter and Twitch at the same handle at the Mr. Paradise. Like 2Six said, we got some exciting stream changes if you're a usual coming up for what we'll be streaming on the daily basis. On top of that, there is a Monster Hunter community event, which I believe tickets were open to the community if I'm not wrong, but I believe they've been sold out. If you did get in that cheeky Monster Hunter community event in London, you may see me there.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen his face before. I will see his face for the first time. I don't know what this guy looks like.
Well, I might do a cheeky live stream at the event. How about that? Get the
face reveal.
Face reveal.
Get those face reveals.
This is Paradise, guys. This is him. All right, guys. Laters. Bye.
See ya.